Today we're comparing the Infinix Note 60 Pro versus the CAMON 50 Pro.
A few years ago, this would have been a straightforward comparison, but in 2026, things have changed. One brings a stronger 5G chipset, the other comes with a Sony sensor and 3x telephoto lens.
So which one actually makes more sense for you to buy?
So now we'll start with design and display. When it comes to design, the Tecno CAMON 50 Pro and the Infinix Note 60 Pro almost look the same size. So in hand, it should feel pretty similar. The Note 60 Pro does look a bit premium with Gorilla Glass on the front and aluminum frame, and it's also slightly thinner. It has an RGB notification that lights up. Infinix calls it the active matrix display.
It's a small lightning display that shows notification, text, and phone calls.
It looks cool, but it's more of a gimmick than something that changes how you use your device every day. The CAMON 50 Pro takes a different approach. Instead of the light show at the back, it keeps things simple with a small LED indicator for notification and charging. And some people might actually find it more practical. It also have a much stronger water and dust resistant IP68 and IP69 rating, which is pretty rare for this price. So while it might not look flashy and have aluminum frames, it could end up being the more durable device. For display, once again, both phones are quite similar. They both use 6.7-inch AMOLED display with 144Hz refresh rate. So scrolling animation feel very smooth on either device. The resolution is the same too, so sharpness should not be noticed different. The Note 60 Pro does get brighter display, has Gorilla Glass protection, which technically gives the edge on paper. But in normal day-to-day, the difference might not be huge unless you're using the phone in bright sunlight.
For the display and design category, I will have to give it to the Note 60 Pro.
When it comes to camera, this is actually where the difference between the CAMON 50 Pro and the Note 60 Pro becomes a lot clearer. The CAMON 50 Pro is clearly built for photography. It uses a 50MP Sony main sensor, which is fairly large, and also adds 50MP telephoto camera with 3x optical zoom, plus 8MP ultra wide. The telephoto lens is actually interesting because phones in this price range rarely include proper zoom camera. It also has optical zoom stabilization, which should help with sharper photos and steadier shots.
The Note 60 Pro takes a more simple approach.
It has a 50MP main camera with OIS and 8MP ultra wide, but it doesn't include a dedicated zoom lens. So if you want to zoom in, the phone mostly relies on digital zoom instead of optical zoom. That's not bad for casual photos, but it can't take good photos like the CAMON 50 Pro. In real life use, it means the CAMON 50 Pro will be more flexible for photography, especially if you like to zoom or take portrait shots. The Note 60 Pro will likely take decent photos, but it doesn't have the same camera hardware.
As I always say, cameras are not about spec. Image processing and tuning will also matter, so the gap might not be that much.
So I took photos with both devices. You guys should let me know which of these devices has a better camera. For software, both devices are similar. The Infinix Note 60 Pro runs on Android 16 on XOS 16, while the Tecno CAMON 50 Pro runs on Android 16 with iOS 16. And they both promise 3 years major updates. In reality, XOS and iOS are very close because Infinix and Tecno are under the same company, so overall experience will feel familiar. The differences are mostly in the small UI changes and pre-installed apps rather than completely different software experiences. The Note 60 Pro uses a Snapdragon 7H Gen 4, which is a newer 4nm chipset that supports 5G connectivity.
This means faster internet speed and better network support over the years.
The CAMON 50 Pro, on the other hand, runs on the MediaTek Helio G200 Ultimate. It's still a decent mid-range chipset for everyday use, like social media, light gaming, casual gaming, but it only supports 4G. On the OS and chipset category, I have to give it to the Note 60 Pro. Snapdragon 7H Gen 4 5G chipsets. It's amazing.
Now the next category is the battery. Both the CAMON 50 Pro and the Note 60 Pro are quite similar in this category.
The Note 60 Pro comes with a 6500 mAh battery, while the CAMON 50 Pro comes with a 6150 mAh battery, which is quite large and should easily last you a full day and probably even more depending on how you use your phone.
Now the real difference shows up in charging speed.
The Note 60 Pro supports 90 watts fast charging, while the CAMON 50 Pro tops up at 45 watts wired charging. On paper, that means the Infinix should charge slightly faster, but in everyday use, the CAMON still charge as decent. The only difference will be like 15 minutes. So it's not necessarily slow, just not as fast. Both phones include reverse charging, bypass charging, which is nice. In the battery and charging category, I would have to give it to the Note 60 Pro.
For my final verdict, it's really hard to pick the winner, but if I have to pick, I would give it to the Note 60 Pro.
It has a stronger chipset, 5G processor, much faster 90 watts charging, which makes it feel a bit more future-proof. The CAMON 50 Pro still has its own strengths. It offers better camera setup, way better camera setup with a Sony sensor, a 3x telephoto lens, plus stronger IP rating. To summarize this review in 30 seconds, I would say the Note 60 Pro wins in design, performance, and fast charging, while the CAMON 50 Pro wins in camera and durability. Anyways, you guys should tell me what you think about the review, what you think about the CAMON 50 Pro and the Note 60 Pro. Which one would you be buying? And also, let's have a conversation in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.